Yeah. All right. So chapter 1 review number 1. So I'm going to just tell you the answers. If you need explanation because you got it wrong, then we'll do it. But if you all got it right, I'll assume you know what you're doing. So number 1, you should have gotten y equals negative 19.
Hey, let's go.
Number 2, n equals negative 8.
8 or 8?
8.
Negative
I got
8.
8.
Let's go.
I got 8.
It should be 8.
It should be 8. Should be.
Do you want me to do it?
No, it's fine.
Okay, I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay, if you got it wrong, you want me to do it, let me know. Good? Remember, if you got it wrong, circle it, and that way you can go back and figure out what happened. Okay, I'm going to keep going unless somebody wants me to do it.
Yeah, I'd like you to do it.
Okay, so let me go to the next page. So this is number 2. We have 3.2 equals negative 0.4 n. So to get the n by itself, you divide by negative 0.4. Divide this by negative 0.4. So 3.2 divided by negative 0.4 should give you a negative 8. 2.
3.2?
3.2.
Oh, that's what I messed up. I didn't do 3.2, I did 32.
Decimals make a difference. So that would be why you got 80 instead of 8.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. So make sure you copy it onto your paper correctly. That's probably the biggest thing. You should have gotten t equals 12 pi. Now, some of you may have solved this all the way to the decimal, so I don't know what 12 times pi is.
37.600
I got
37.68.
37.68.
6.9.
I got 37.68.
Okay, if we're going to argue, let me do it.
Are you?
Wait, what'd you get?
38.6.
It's 37.68.
I
It doesn't matter. By 1 point, I would have accepted it. It's not a competition, guys. You're only in competition with yourself. All right, any questions on number 3?
No.
All right, number 4, you were to find the value of x and then find the angle measures of the polygon. So you have x equals 35, and then you had to tell me all of the different angles. So for number 4, you should have had 35 as one of the angles, 40 is one of the angles, and 105 is one of the angles. And you need this little degree sign in the corner. If you didn't put it, put it. Everybody got that?
So x is 35.
Right, and then you plug it in and solve for each angle.
Oh,
So you should have 4 answers for number 4,
shoot.
or you're going to miss points. Make sure you always read all of the directions. Do I need to give you a minute?
No.
No? Okay. So number 5, you should have gotten x equals 120. And then you have 4 different corners. So 2 of them are 60 degrees. And 2 of them are 120 degrees. Okay, everybody's scribbling. Does that mean you just forgot to do the corners?
I forgot.
We're gonna answer all of those questions.
The little.
So you didn't plug in X. That's what I'm asking. Is that what happened? Is just everybody forgot to plug it in?
Yeah.
Okay. So write down the correct answer and then go back and do it so you make sure you know how you did it. Shh, 7th grade, hush. Okay, number 6, you all should have got X equals 135. Yes?
I got 136. I don't know how
I
bad.
got 137.
Okay, well, y'all need to check your... Do I need to do this one? Let's do this one.
Yeah.
So you have a... What kind of polygon is this?
That's like a house anyway.
It's, how many sides does it have?
5.
Yep, so it's a...
Oh.
What kind? It's a pentagon.
Yeah, pentagon. Yeah.
Okay, so each of these is x minus 45, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so to solve for this, we know that the sum of all of these is 540, right?
Yes.
So we're just going to add all of these up. I have 3 of the x minus 45s, right?
Yeah.
And then I have how many x's? 2 x's. So then I just say all of that equals 540. Does that make sense how I set that up? Okay, I had 3 of these things, and I had 2 of these things. So you saw I have 3 there and 2 here. So now I just simplify for x. So I'm going to distribute 3 times that, which gives me 3x. What's 45 times 3? Shh. What's 45 times 3?
So 130? 135.
No, I'm tripping. 120 something.
Do it on a calculator if you're not sure. 45 times 3.
$135. I was right. 135.
135. Okay, so now we can simplify like terms. So I have a 3x and a 2x, so I add those together to get 5x. Minus 135 equals 540. So now I add 135 to both sides. I'm left with 5x equals, what's 540 plus 135?
$675.
Very good. And then x by itself, divide that number by 5. So each value of x is 135. So now I take that 135 and I plug it in wherever the x's are to find my variables, or to find my measurements, I'm sorry. So for 2 of the measurements, I just write it, 135, 135. And then for the other ones, I subtract 45 from that. Well, what's 135 minus 45?
90.
So when you list it, I'm going to say I have 2 measurements of 135, 135, and then I have 3 measurements of 90. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's how you do number 4, 5, and 6.
Long stuff.
This is, yeah, it's a lengthy process, but if you understand each step, it's not hard process. You just follow each step.
Whew, I'm caught up. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, now let's look at number 7. You should have gotten m equals,
6.
everybody got 6.
Hey, let's go.
Good job. Number 8
P
equals,
2 over 5.
not quite. Well, put it in decimal.
0.4.
I think you're right. Check it. 2 divided by 5 is, I think, 0.4. Decimal is 0.4.
Wait,
Yeah, 0.4.
Yeah.
Does it matter if you just put 0.4 or is it more accurate if you
It's
put
not
0.4?
0.4.
Okay.
Also,
I won't count off if you put 0.4, but it's
I don't know, but like
better
later,
professionally to have 0.4.
Okay.
And I would not have counted off for a fraction.
Okay.
I would have gone, oh, okay. I would have grabbed my calculator and checked it to make sure it was 0.4. So fraction is fine.
okay.
Number 9, you should get n equals
3 over 4.
negative 19.
Negative 9.
Negative 9?
What did I get?
Do I need to do that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do this one.
Yeah.
Number 9, we have, it's a bunch of fractions. 2/5 n plus 1/10 equals 1/2 n plus 4. Okay, so we're going to distribute over here first. So what's half of n? You just write 1/2 n. What's half of 4?
2.
2.
Good. So now I'm just going to rewrite this. All right, so now let's get the n stuff together. So I'm going to subtract 1/2 n from both sides. So this is gone. 2/5 n minus 1/2 n. You got to get a common denominator to subtract, right?
So that would be 10.
So 10, 10. This would be 4. This would be 5. So what's 4 minus 5?
4 minus 5, 1.
Negative 1, right?
Negative
So I have negative 1/10 n plus 1/10 equals 2 so far.
Yeah.
Follow? So now we got to subtract 1/10. So I have negative 1/10 n equals, what is 2 minus 1/10? Should be 1 9/10.
Yes.
Okay, then my last step is to move this negative 1/10. Well, to move it, we do the reciprocal and multiply. Okay, so n equals, and this is technically 19 over 10, right? If I make it a mixed. So,
Wait 1 second. So you eventually get to, this is like the last part of the equation before you get
the answer.
the answer would be 110, 1 over 10 times n equals 1, like
It's a negative 1 over 10.
negative 1?
Negative 1/10 n. You're right here. Yeah, see there's a negative here. Negative 1/10, because we did 4/10 minus 5/10. Follow?
Sort of.
I can back up.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here we are at negative 1/10 n equals 1 9/10. Are you not there?
Negative 1/10.
Because what I did was subtract this. See, look up here. So I subtracted this from this side. So I had to do 2/5 minus 1/2. And we turned it into a common denominator. So 2/5 became 4/10, and 1/2 became 5/10. But I subtracted the top one minus the second one. So 4/10 minus 5/10, 4 is smaller than 5, so it makes it a negative 1/10. Follow?
Because you're subtracting
4 minus 5.
Oh, okay. And 2/5 equals 4
Tenths.
Oh, okay.
Good?
Okay.
So that's how I got negative 1/10 9. I mean 1/10 n, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So then to move the 1/10 over to the other side, you flip, normally we would divide, but it's a fraction. So you flip it and multiply.
Oh, okay.
So negative 10 over 10 over 1. I hate it when my finger hits the little button. All right, so where's my eraser? Oh, I can't erase now since I moved over. Ah. All right, so
That's fine.
the 1 9/10, this thing, we can write it as an improper 19 over 10, right?
Yeah.
So we're multiplying that times negative 10 over 1. So to simplify, this becomes a negative 1, this becomes a 1, because they're crossed, so we can just divide them from each other. So then you have 19 times negative 1 divided by 1 is just negative 19. So this would be your answer. You can always do this on your calculator if this gets too heavy for you. Do this right here, 1 9/10 times negative 10 over 1. You should get negative 19. Okay, did we follow all that? If you're confused at all, I need to know. I can break it down. I don't have a problem with that. I'd rather you understand it.
Yeah, yesterday night I slipped up because I didn't get the negative out of 2/5. Like,
When you subtracted.
yeah, when I subtracted.
Yep, that's all right. That's why we're going over it. Okay, so everybody has number 9?
Yeah.
This is on your test, guys, so know how to do it.
Yeah.
All right, so number 10, right? Is that what I'm on?
Yes.
Okay, this is a 2-part answer. First, you had to rearrange the equation for k. So you should have gotten k equals 5/9 f minus 32 plus 273.15.
Hey, can you repeat that again? Oh,
It's on the board.
k equals 9f.
Okay, all we did was rearrange that equation. Did you guys get this, or do I need to do it? I can do it if I need to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because I didn't get parentheses.
so let's start with our original equation. We have f equals 9 over 5 times k minus 273.15 plus 32.
Yay.
Okay, so first things first, I'm going to move that 32 over there because it's all lonely by itself and I need it gone. So to move the 32, I'm going to subtract 32. Okay, so that's gone. I have f minus 32 equals 9/5 of k minus 273.15. Good so far?
Yeah.
Now how do I move the 9/5? Because this means to distribute here, right?
Wait, do we have to like switch something?
Yep. So to move it, I would normally divide by 9/5, but since it's a fraction, very good, we're going to flip it and multiply. So that's times everything over on this side.
It's weird. I was following the book, and then it said, I think, according to what I saw, it said to divide the to move the fraction first.
After you've moved 32.
Oh, okay.
If you move 32 later, it's not going to work. Okay, so now we have 5/9 times f minus 32. That's gone, so I just have k minus 273.15. Now how do I move a minus 273.15? Do the opposite, which is? Yep. So I'm going to add it over here. So I have 5/9 times f minus 32 plus 273.15 equals k. So this is your final answer.
Yeah, I didn't mess with 32. So.
Yeah, you got to move that one first because it's got this plus sign way over here. It's chilling by itself. So you got to move him before you deal with the fraction.
Oh.
Why is 5/9 separate from f minus 32?
Because when I moved it over here, you had to times it by everything.
Oh, okay.
You can't just throw it in front.
Okay.
Because otherwise it would only multiply times f, and that's not. It has to be times both.
Oh, you do both. You both because it's more than one term.
No,
Oh.
because you're moving it over, and it applies to the whole side, not just one term. Okay, you got that written down? All right, so for B, taking that equation that we just wrote, and we're plugging in, it said to solve for Fahrenheit is 240 degrees. So I'm going to rewrite the equation. 5/9 f minus 32 plus 273.15. So we know that Fahrenheit equals 240. Amber alert. So we're going to plug that in right there where the F is. All right? So K equals 5/9, 240 minus 32 plus 273.15. So, Anthony, got your calculator ready?
Yeah.
So do 240 minus 32.
Minus what?
32.
208.
208. So we have simplified what's in the parentheses first, according to PEMDAS. So now I'm going to do 5/9 times 208. Actually, Anthony's going to do it because he's got his calculator ready.
What'd you say?
5/9 times 208.
5/9.
Times 208.
$105 over.
Give me the decimal.
I don't know how to read this.
So change it to a decimal. So right here, hit the second and see the F to D changes it to a decimal.
11.
So 115.56.
Dang,
Okay.
there's 5, 5, 5,
Now
5, 5,
add
5, 5.
273.15. Just hit the plus button and add 273.15.
Oh, okay. 273.
3.15.
388.70.
And then we label it.
Yeah.
So it's approximately 388 degrees, 0.71 Kelvin. So you just converted Fahrenheit to Kelvin. Cool, right? Kim's like, no. That's okay. You don't have to like math, you just have to learn it.
Yeah.
That's funny. This is a science formula, guys. You'll use this in science.
How much is a Kelvin compared to?
Nelson's gonna make us do this.
Probably. You know he will.
How much
I
is
don't
it?
know the exact conversion. I mean, you just use this formula. So,
Confusing.
all right. Everybody got number 10B. Now let's do number 11. Well, or I'll write the answer. Did you guys get 11 or do you want me to do it?
I didn't do 11.
So then, no. All right. So for A, write the formula for the area of a trapezoid. So area equals, how do you find the area of a trapezoid? Do you guys know?
Nope.
Did anybody try and look it up on their Chromebooks?
Yeah, this morning I was like, where is it? I looked in the.
It's not in your
conversion
books.
thing. So I was like, okay, I'm grabbing my phone, so I looked it up. It's A equals A plus B divided by 2 times H.
Nope.
What? Oh.
What?
Okay, so let me tell it to you. The area of a trapezoid is 1/2 of the height times little b plus big B. And let me show you why. Here's my trapezoid. Right? Everybody see that?
Yeah.
This is the height. So this is H. The little b is your small length, and the big B is your big length.
So they're 2 separate variables.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're doing 1/2 of H, and then you add these two together. Now, if you wanted to do this without having the formula, you would have some serious problems. So I'm going to make this picture look better because this goes further out here. Okay, we know this is 8. We know this is 8. We know this is 16. We know this is 7. And we know that the area equals 72. Okay? So this was A. Answer A. For B, what do they want us to do? They want us to solve for H. So we're just rearranging this formula for H. Because that's the only variable we don't know. So how do I get H by itself? Well, right now we have this times this, right? So let's just divide out the B plus B. So divide it from both sides. So I have A over little b plus big B equals 1/2 H. Good so far?
Yeah.
Now how do I get the 1/2 out of there?
But you're doing A or B?
This is B. I just didn't rewrite the formula. I started it from the above formula.
Yeah, that's
I did a little laziness, I'm sorry. Okay, so far I have A over little b plus big B equals 1/2 H. How do I get the H by itself?
You
Which means it's the reciprocal, that's the word you're looking for, times 2 over 1. So this whole thing times 2 over 1. Okay, so 2 times A over B plus B is just 2A over B plus B equals H. So now I've solved for H. You're just rearranging equations, guys. And just break it down each
because it's so long, it'll be
step.
supposed to be like
Process
just
of
two.
rearranging.
Everything now is going to take more than one step. So I'm going to have to try and focus. You're entering the age of algebra, guys.
Welcome to algebra.
Depression has came back.
Oh, it's gonna be for
Welcome
all
to algebra.
It's going to be for this year and next year. Next year you have Algebra 1 for high school. Just be patient with yourself and make sure you follow the steps.
I'd rather geometry.
Well, then you'll be happy when you get to sophomore year. All right, so that's A and B.
That'll be 10th grade.
10th grade is geometry, yes. You'll get a little geometry this year. And then for C, it said to solve for H, right?
There's a C?
Do you guys not read instructions?
Oh yeah, there's a C.
We barely do it.
Y'all need to. I'm going to start giving you a test with just testing you on instructions. All right, so we're going to plug each of these in. Our little b, we're going to plug in 8. Big B, we're going to plug in 16. A, we're going to plug in 72. You see all that? So we're plugging all those into this equation. So we have 2 times what? Put your book down so you can see. We're doing 2 times what? What do we plug in here, guys?
The area.
There it is. I heard it. 72. Because A equals 72, it told us. Divided by, where's my little b? What's the measurement of my little b? What's the measurement of big B?
16.
Yep. And all that's going to equal h, which is what we're solving for. So now let's solve this. What is 2 times 72?
$144.
What's 16 plus 8?
That's 24.
Now what's 144 divided by 24?
144. 4 divided by 24. 6.
6. So h equals 6. 6 what? What's the measurement here?
8. I don't know.
Look at the picture, guys. 8 centimeters, 8 centimeters, 16 centimeters. So the measure is centimeters.
Oh.
Good.
You got me on that, miss.
Y'all need to read. I'm really concerned about the lack of reading of instructions. All right, number 12.
Hey, that's easy. Let's go. 17.
17
Hold on,
times
17.
2.54.
Yeah. Which equals.
43.18.
Yeah, you should have gotten around 43.18.
Hey, let's go.
Depending on what conversion.
Just a question.
I love being interrupted. How about you?
Me too.
I got a question in number 14 before you do it because I want to do it, but still.
Can I talk about 13 first? Shh. 7th grade.
Sure, why not?
Yes. Gary, why are you leaving?
Because it's 10:34.
Well, somebody tell me that.
It's 10:36. I'm supposed to be leaving at 10:36.
Yeah. All right, 13. You should have gotten 84.21.
Yep.
14. What's your question, Kim?
Okay, so I couldn't find online what feet to kilometers.
It's on that paper, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
The only one that's not on that paper is centiliters.
I know, but it's like a whole decimal.
Oh, no.
Well, which one are you doing? 14, right? I got 1.46304311.
Yeah, you should have right around 1.45.
Yeah, that's what I got.
I wanted to do it.
So let's do it. Calm down. So you had 4,800 feet, and we're changing it to kilometers. So feet goes on the bottom, kilometers goes on top. How many feet are in a kilometer? Look on the conversion chart. Back of your book. Did you find it, Kim?
0.6 miles.
No, feet to kilometers, goober.
There's no feet.
I don't need miles.
Oh, that's kind of a pun. If you think about it.
There's no feet.
You don't need miles
Who cares about miles, bro?
miles per hour.
No stress.
Goober.
Okay, we have
So yeah, there's no feet to kilos.
Who say you call me goober?
your mom.
Oh, you can.
Oh,
But not him.
got it. Okay, there's foot to meter, and then we can do meter to kilometer, right? So we would go feet to meter,
So there's no kilometers.
and then we can go meter to kilometer. Because how many meters in a kilometer?
So this was a twist.
So it's a double conversion.
Oh, that never said.
Well, it's not gonna tell you, honey.
Honey.
So how many
Sorry.
No, you're fine. How many meters in a foot, or feet in a meter?
Well, I thought it was gonna be logical, not anything.
Okay, do you want to do this or not?
Yes.
Okay,
0.3, right?
so you do 4,800 times 0.3 divided by 100.
Okay.
You get 4.5.
You get
1.45.
approximately 1.45.
It was like a whole decimal, so I got confused.
Well, it might be a really long decimal. You only got to go 2 decimal places. Okay, real quick before you go, I'm going to give you the answers. If you need me to do them after I give them to you, raise your hand and I'll video it and post it. So number 15 was 136.4. Make sure you label it feet per second. Number 16, you should got about 624 gallons per hour. And number 17, you should have got 0.0343 meters cubed. All right, any one of those you need a video on?
No.
Okay, anybody else besides Anthony?
Yes.
Which one?
All of
17.
them.
All of, have you even tried them?
Just
Working on
17.
it.
So the answer is no.
No.
Okay, try them first.
Okay.
All right, number 15. Says a baseball pitch is clocked at 93 miles per hour. Convert it to feet per second. So since we are converting both miles and hours to feet per second, we're doing a double conversion. So you're doing 93 miles over 1 hour times, let's do miles first. So put miles on the bottom because we want it to cross out, feet on top. How many feet are in a mile? Feet in a mile. I thought it was here. 5,280. And then, so that cancels out my miles. So now I have to do hour on top and seconds on the bottom because I want to cancel out my hours. How many seconds are in an hour? It's 3,600 seconds in an hour. So now I just multiply top over the bottom, so 93 times 5,280. Gives you 491,040 divided by 3,600. So you divide that and you're going to get 136.4, and we're at feet per second now. That's number 15. Number 16, a community pool is filled at a rate of 40 liters per minute. Convert this to gallons per hour. So again, you're doing a double conversion. So 40 liters per minute, and let's do liters to gallons, and then we'll do minutes to hours. So how many gallons are in a liter? 1 liter is 0.26 gallons. And then this is minute. I need to type. So how many minutes are in an hour? 60 minutes. So you're going to multiply the top and divide it by the bottom. So the bottom's easy. It's 1 times 1 times 1. So you have 40 times 0.26 times 60, which gives you 624. So it's going to be about 624 gallons per hour. That's your answer on that one. And number 17. You can always pause the video if I'm going too quick. What is the volume of the cube in cubic meters. So they give you the volume of the cube is 34,300 centimeters cubed. So we need to change it to meters cubed. So 34,300 centimeters cubed over 1. So we're trying to change it. We got to change it centimeters to meters and then cube the whole thing. Okay, so how many centimeters are in a meter? There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. And then you have to apply the cube to both of those. So I'm going to rewrite 34,300 centimeters cubed. 1 to the power of 3 is still 1. 100 to the power of 3, so that's 100 times 100 times 100. Or you could put it in your calculator. Now you just multiply straight across and then divide, so you end up doing 34,300 divided by 1 million, which gets you 0.0343 meters cubed, because you cubed your conversion. So this is your final answer. All right, good luck.